and welcome to number 10 of our 30 journey to 30 years in the making, the journey to Wrestlemania 30.
WrestleMania's 10 years old.
Yeah, didn't we get reminded of that? We're at Wrestlemania 10, Madison Square Garden, 1994. Attendance of 18,065. We also have Jerry the King Lawler, and Vince McMahon on commentary this time.
Jerry Lawler. See what he was wearing?
No, what was
Dear God. I don't know if he was wearing it all the way through, but at one point he had like this little camp jacket on. It was all glittery and nothing underneath. He's got a really hairy chest. And he's got a really stupid bowl haircut that a 12-year-old boy would have. It was just like...
That's like just Jerry Lawler.
That's distracting.
That's what he's like now.
It's awful. Sorry.
That's alright. So we got no JR. I think JR got fired around this point.
Oh.
Yeah, he's been fired many times. Oh. This is also the WrestleMania in which it's the first time that we have the Royal Rumble event, and then the winner of the Royal Rumble goes on for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania. This is also the only time we ever got double winners. We got Lex Luger and Bret Hart winning the Royal Rumble coming into this, with Yokozuna as the WWF champion. We get a nice little video package of the first WrestleMania before we start. Then Vince, he introduced this guy called Little Richards. I mean, maybe you guys know who he is. I had no idea who he was. And he did his best Michael Jackson impression while singing the national anthem. And we also got the same scenery that we got for the Canada video, so I feel a bit cheated. Canada and America are not the same place. Then we jump straight into it. So the video package for the first match, in which there's an argument between Bret and Owen Hart at Survivor Series, and Owen challenges Bret to find out who's going to be the better man. Bret refuses because obviously Owen's his brother, and they seem to sort of like get back together and become a team for Christmas. But then during a match, Bret Hart is too injured to tag in Owen Hart, and then he gets beaten. Owen gets angry at this, and he beats up Bret, which then turns into a promo where Owen basically says that he wants to face Bret Hart at WrestleMania because he wants to step out of the shadow of his brother, his more successful brother. Great story going into this match. And we jump into it. Owen Hart defeating Bret Hart in 20 minutes and 21 seconds. And this is a great match. Amazing match. If you want to see like a technical masterpiece, you have to watch this match. Before we get into the match, there was this funny moment where Bret goes to give out his glasses to a little child, and the child's obviously an Owen Hart fan because he pokes his tongue out at Bret and refuses to look at the camera with the glasses on.
It was almost staged. It was quite cute.
Yeah. To demonstrate how technical this match was, the first couple of minutes it was like this takedown to which Bret had Owen into a head scissors, and Owen kicked up out of the head scissors, and then there was like a reversal from a headlock which went into an arm lock. It was just there was so many reversals that were just like if you look down for a second and you look back up again, it'd be somebody else in control. Like it was just non-stop. Yeah, this is the first like proper technical match we've got in our WrestleMania journey so far. This match was brilliant. There was a few times in which Owen slapped Bret slapped Owen. We also got hold on, I'm trying to go through my spots. Owen starts working on the back of Bret by doing backbreakers and camel clutches, and then it looks like Owen's about to go and take control, but Bret turns Owen running into him into a belly-to-belly suplex, which was really nice. And then Bret goes for a suplex, but Owen like blocks it and then turns it into his German suplex, which looked like he was going to win, but it didn't. And then there was a really weird moment where Owen did the tombstone and then went to the top rope and did the drop kick and missed the not drop kick, the headbutt. But it's just really weird to see Owen do the tombstone. I forgot that Owen actually does do the tombstone quite often. It's weird. Yeah, it's just weird. You're just used to seeing Undertaker or Kane doing it. Bret starts to fight back using his Russian leg sweep, which they always say is a neck breaker. It's not a neck breaker, it's a Russian leg sweep. And jumping from the elbow, we get a nice enziguri in which Owen goes for the sharpshooter, but Bret turns it round and goes for the sharpshooter himself, which is also countered. Then Bret seems to injure his knee, and then for the rest of the match, Owen is literally honing in on the knee. He's trying to kick the knee, he's trying to do everything he can.
Wrapping it around the post, isn't he?
Yeah, he does everything. After like a good few minutes of Owen beating down the knee, Bret hits the enziguri and then goes for the superplex off the top rope for a really close 2 count. Then there was a headlock to which Owen got a low blow and went for the sharpshooter, but Bret powers out of the sharpshooter and locks in the sharpshooter himself. Owen gets to the ropes, manages to break it up. Then Bret goes for a roll up, but Owen reverses it and gets the 1-2-3 in the win, and it's just, that is how good that match is.
It's just so fast. It's almost like WrestleMania hasn't happened until now.
Yeah, this
WrestleMania starts now.
I was gonna say that like this is the first WrestleMania that we've watched that it feels like a today sort of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It was so big, it was so loud.
It's the best. This is like one of the best matches we've seen so far out of all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
By far. I mean, other matches we've seen in the past have had momentum, but it's usually one person in the match, whereas this is they were both very equally matched.
Yeah.
And they just went for it, and it was just technically it was perfect.
It was a brilliant match, and that's just the opener.
Yeah.
We get an interview in the back with Owen where he's obviously celebrating and saying he's stepped out of the shadow of Bret. Then we go to some wig guy in the ring and we get shown Howard Finkel with a wig on. Great. We're then going into the next match, which kind of brings the crowd down a bit. It's Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna defeating Doink and Dink in 6 minutes and 9 seconds.
Mini me.
Yeah. I got confused because this is meant to be like a mixed tag, which normally means that you've got 2 men and you've got 2 women. The women are only allowed to fight the women and the men are only allowed to fight the men, which we covered, I think, in WrestleMania 2 or 3 or 4, one or the other. This one, it's Luna is only allowed to fight the midget and Doink is only allowed to fight Bam Bam. And then also, whilst Luna's beating up Dink, the commentators are making it seem like Luna is evil for fighting Dink.
They've been matched up to each other. They've been giving each other... It's not like Dink was in the ring and Luna came out and started beating him up. Like, they were matched. They were supposed to be
They were actually in the match together, and every time she went to go and hit him, she was the bad guy.
Don't book him in a match if you've got an issue with that.
It was just awful to see. It reminds me of El Torito today. It's just awful to see.
Yeah, I thought so.
Dink just running around Bam Bam and that like a fucking idiot. It was like watching a child. It's like a child had run into the ring and was just having some fun. It was
literally, it was just chasing and like he was running between her legs and stuff. I said to you when this was happening, actually, I was like, it's almost like WWE knew
WWF at the time,
knew that they put all their eggs in one basket for the first match and thought, we're not going to beat it, let's just have a funny one. Yeah. Let's just put anything on because nothing's going to be as good as that. It's such a like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think the problem is that obviously the first match is so good, and the first match is only ever supposed to work the crowd. I mean, the first match of this WrestleMania, the next time that there's a first match to a WrestleMania that comes anywhere close to it is 21. So that's 11 WrestleManias away.
I was hoping that set the benchmark now.
No, there's a really nice one in 21 that a lot of people forget about. That I'm looking forward to commenting on. But so obviously they have to bring the crowd down with a couple of comedy matches. But this match is just awful to watch. Bam Bam accidentally hits Dink on the ring apron when he goes to hit Doink with a clothesline. Then he goes off the top rope with a diving headbutt for the win. Then Dink comes in and starts to hit Bam Bam. And so there's obviously no effect. Then Luna comes in and kicks Bam Bam and like scoop slams him and they go for a squash. But Bam Bam and Luna are meant to be the evil people, even though this Dink has gone up to Bam Bam and started kicking him for no reason.
He was proper shouting him, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it was like, I don't understand how Dink is the good guy here. And it was really weird because they were obviously attacking Dink, and then it just suddenly stopped, and they walked to the back. It was like time constraints; they just had to stop. It was really weird. We then get a really nice surprise. We get shown Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, in the crowd.
I thought it was just somebody who's meant to look like him.
No, it definitely was Bill Clinton with Bruce Campbell behind him. Sorry, IRS. Then we get Randy Savage making his return into the ring, defeating Crush with Mr. Fuji in 9 minutes 49 seconds in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This isn't a normal Falls Count Anywhere match because we were kind of confused. Basically, the rules are that you pin your opponent on the outside of the ring, and then they have 60 seconds to get back into the ring, and if they don't, they lose, which just seemed really stupid. Really stupid.
It was almost like the match was only there for the ending.
Yeah, basically.
For no reason.
Savage attacked Crush before he could get to the ring, but Crush, I think he hit like a scoop slam, pinned him. Then Savage had 60 seconds to get into the ring. He only just did with 2 seconds left. Fuji gives Crush the salt, to which Savage causes the salt to go into Crush's eyes. There was a top rope elbow, and I was wondering why there was no cover, but obviously he's had to pull. He does a top rope elbow in the middle of the ring and has to pull Crush out of the ring, pin him, and then try and make it so that he gets back in the ring, which just doesn't make sense. It's quite funny because Mr. Fuji is like slapping Crush to try and get him to get up, and then he throws like a bottle of water.
Yeah, he disappears, doesn't he, for about 10 seconds, and then this wave of water.
Yeah, which was quite funny. Crush gets into the ring. There's a super kick on the outside from Crush, which is quite good. He goes for the pile driver, but that's countered. Then they're thrown to the outside where the arena is, and Savage covers him for the 3 count, and then Savage just ties Crush's boot up and then like hangs him upside down for the 60 seconds.
There's like a frame, isn't there, out the back?
Yeah.
There's like a random frame, you're thinking, what the hell's that? And then when he gets tied up and he gets hoisted up, it's like, that's blatantly just been made for that.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, it was a bit like, I was in 2 minds of that when that happened, because I was a bit like, that's really shit, that's really tacky, and then I thought, actually, that's quite good. I don't know. It's like,
it seems stupid.
It's stupid, but I kind of enjoyed it, because it was like, how else are you going to win a match like that, apart from physically, enabling your opponent to get back to the ring? Because if you just hit them, they're just going to get back up again.
Yeah.
You can't pin them. They will get back in those 30 seconds. The only other thing he could have done is trap them somewhere, wait until literally there's 10 seconds left, and run as fast as he could. Like, it was
I think they've quite.
It was a bit cheap, wasn't it?
They brought me down from the Owen Hart match, that's for sure. Todd is in the crowd again with Bill Clinton, and he asks Bill if he's enjoying himself. Then IRS is pointed out.
Oh, that guy was really sweet. He was like, "I'm so sorry, Mr. President. I'm a bit nervous." And I was like, "Don't worry, don't worry."
Yeah, because obviously he's meeting the president.
It was so sweet because you could tell he genuinely meant it. It was a bit wobbly, wasn't he?
And then we have like a nice little exchange between Bill Clinton and Bruce Campbell where they discuss taxes. We're then shown the first ever fan fest, which we know as Access today. Then Savage, to end his role for tonight, he goes through the crowd and obviously talks to a load of people in the crowd. We then get our first women's match for quite a while. Alundra Blaze, the WWF Women's Champion, retaining her title against Lalana Kai in 3 minutes 20 seconds.
/ David Bowie.
Yeah. There's not a lot to say about this match. There was a nice hurricane by Alundra. That was quite nice.
For a women's match, to begin with, I was like, this is awful. But actually, for a women's match, it wasn't too bad.
No,
I know, once again, I say this in every video, we shouldn't compare it to modern day, but there was wrestling. That's more than you can say for a lot of them nowadays. Like,
true.
It wasn't that bad.
No, that's true. There was a nice little line where it said, Jerry Lawler basically said that Alundra could star in TV westerns if she had 2 more legs, basically saying she looks like a horse. It's quite harsh. Then there was a Northern Suplex pin for the win by Alundra. For those of you that don't really know, Alundra Blaze, not long after this, she goes to WCW and she becomes Medusa. She still has the WWF Women's Championship at the time, and she is the one that famously dumped the Women's Championship into the bin live on Nitro.
I've seen that, yeah.
And then her career sort of tailed out.
Mm.
We're then shown Nikolai Volkov and Fabulous Moolah in the crowd. And we're also shown Rhonda Shea, I want to say. Rhonda Big Tits out the back with HBK. To which she's saying how she likes HBK.
She was barely in that, and she bounced the second the camera was on her.
And then Burt Reynolds come out, so we've got Burt Reynolds here. We are then treated to Men on a Mission, which is Mabel and Mo with Oscar, defeating the Quebecers Jacques and Pierre with Johnny Polo in 7 minutes 41 seconds by count out. Now, it took me a little while to notice this, but Johnny Polo, their manager, is Raven. For those of you that know your wrestling, James would love that if he was here. Raven, who obviously goes to WCW, he comes back in WWF and wins the hardcore title. He's huge in ECW. Raven, awesome to see. Mabel and Mo rap to the ring, and Mabel is basically dancing. It's like Brodus Clay today, basically.
There was a really good commentator's line in this section.
Oh yeah, did you pick up on it? What was it?
Did you not hear it?
No.
I can't remember who was commentating. I don't know who he was referring to because they were quite big.
Yeah.
He was like, as a baby, what was it? He would have had to be baptised at SeaWorld.
Oh.
Did you not hear that?
No, I'm guessing that's to Mabel. Yeah. I couldn't work out how Men on a Mission, the big guys, were the underdogs. That's why they were trying to make it out that they were the underdogs. When Mabel would get into the ring, he'd crush them.
Just sit on someone.
Yeah, he'd just crush them. There's not a lot to say about this tag match, really. There
wasn't great.
No, it wasn't fun. There was a lot of beating up of Mo so that Mabel could come in, and like we said, the Quebecers just basically left the match and got counted out. That was it. On a little side note, obviously we're recording these quite early, so we're not recording them daily, and Mabel, Viscera, Big Daddy V, he died yesterday, so from a big heart attack, so it was quite interesting to have him in the next review afterwards.
Yeah.
We then go on to the first WWF Championship match of the night. It's Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette defeating Lex Luger in 14 minutes 40 seconds by disqualification.
With special ref.
We have Mr. Perfect as the special ref.
Mr. P.
It's really weird to see Lex Luger as a face. It's so weird to see that. Again, there's not a huge amount to say about that. It's basically the usual sort of match you'd get from Yokozuna, where the face is trying to knock him down and he's just not managing to knock him down. Then they spend the whole time, they actually spent like 10-13 minutes doing that, and then by the end Luger finally manages to scoop slams Yokozuna and goes for that elbow, but before he did this he pulled in Jim Cornette and he pulled in Mr. Fuji and knocked them down, so they're obviously trying to get into the match. So Luger goes for the cover, but Mr. Perfect is trying to get Cornette and Fuji out of the ring, and then Luger like pushes Perfect and tells him the count, and then because of that Mr. Perfect gives the disqualification.
Touched him.
Obviously a dodgy ref. We also get our first ever appearance in our WrestleMania reviews of the bullshit chant. The whole crowd was chanting bullshit for this. We're then showing Mr. Perfect being interviewed backstage, to which Lex Luger comes out and they have a massive row.
He looked like an inmate.
Hey, Mr. Perfect, yeah. The whole, he didn't just have the referee top; he had the referee trousers. It was
like a baggy onesie thing.
Really weird to see. We then move on to Earthquake defeating Adam Bomb with Harvey Whippleman in 35 seconds. Earthquake basically comes out, power slams, does those stupid tremors things, hits the splash, there you go.
Barely had time to pick up my pencil and write their names down, and it was over.
So stupid. Then we did get Todd out the back with Jim Cornette and Yokozuna, and Jim Cornette basically saying how they know that Bret Hart's hurt, Yokozuna's going to go through him, and Yokozuna's going to keep the title.
After this match, I wrote on my piece of paper, because I noticed someone was missing from this WrestleMania. A certain HBK, a certain Shawn Michaels, and I wrote down on my piece of paper, HBK, question mark, please, in really small writing, because I was really sad that he hadn't appeared yet.
Aww. Obviously it's the HBK match next. The backdrop of this one, because they didn't give us a video, so I wanted to quickly go through it, was basically WWF Commissioner Jack Tunney strips Shawn Michaels of the WWF Intercontinental Championship because Shawn Michaels wasn't defending it enough. In real life, HBK was actually refusing to drop the title.
Really?
Yeah, in real life. So Razor Ramon won the title in a battle royal, but because obviously Michaels never lost the belt, Shawn Michaels never sort of like acknowledged that and pretended he brought his own Intercontinental Championship belt and they had 2 Intercontinental title belts, and this match is to find out who was the undisputed Intercontinental Champion.
Wasn't the only thing he was stripped of.
Huh?
Wasn't the only thing he was stripped of.
See, I didn't notice that. It was only you that was looking out for this. So then we go into the next match, which was Razor Ramon defeating Shawn Michaels in 18 minutes and 47 seconds for the WWF Intercontinental Championship in the ladder match.
Ladder match. First WrestleMania.
Yeah. But we had Diesel out for a little while, aka Kevin Nash, but he attacked Razor Ramon and obviously got sent to the back.
He marched out back, wasn't he?
Yeah. There's quite a few spots here. Ramon lifts up the pads to sort of expose the concrete, but HBK flips Ramon onto the outside and he lands on the concrete. Then there's a drop kick onto the ladder by HBK. He then uses the ladder to do an elbow drop off the ladder, and then jumps over the ladder to do a splash onto Razor Ramon. HBK goes to throw Ramon into the ladder, but Ramon reverses it and HBK goes flying into it and over to the top rope.
Yeah.
I can see someone's blatantly waiting to get to the point where HBK showed a bit too much of himself. Then we have Ramon climbing the ladder, but HBK drop kicks the ladder, which obviously sends Ramon to the floor, but the ladder goes and falls onto HBK. Then both men are climbing the ladder and they brawl to the top. I think Ramon suplexes HBK off the ladder, but the ladder becomes unbalanced and Ramon has to pick it up and then climb, to which HBK drops Ramon off the ladder. I think HBK starts climbing up the ladder, to which Ramon grabs HBK and then he shows off his arse, which, I wouldn't have bet that's written down as well to remember.
It's in here.
Of course it is. God. And then, right, so Ramon is super kicked by HBK, then HBK hits the pile driver, then he climbs to the top rope and splashes onto Ramon, but uses the ladder at the same time, so you've got the ladder and HBK landing on Ramon.
That's crazy.
Then HBK sets up the ladder over Ramon, but then Ramon gets underneath and pushes HBK off the ladder, to which he gets tied up into the ropes.
Is that when HBK sets it up on purpose? Like, it was next to
over
him, and then he sort of lifts it and goes, I lift it over and put it over the top of it.
Yeah. And then HBK gets tangled up into the ropes, and then whilst he's doing that, Razor Ramon literally climbs up and grabs down the 2 titles and wins the Intercontinental Championship.
Could not believe that he won that. I kind of had an idea because HBK was incredible in this match. It's probably one of his best matches that I've seen him in, ever.
Probably
and
because he showed his ass.
No, he probably does it quite a lot in DX. Probably does a lot of other things in DX, to be fair. No, I thought he was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe it, he didn't win. But then, usually the rule is when one person is really prominent, is that the one I'm thinking of, in a match, usually someone else comes and takes it at the last minute. It's not always that person that wins. I mean,
I'd like to point out that Razor Ramon was the good guy.
Oh, he was really good. In the past, I can't remember if it was the last WrestleMania or the one before. I thought he was really good. I'd never seen him before. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, but Ramon is the face coming in, and HBK is the heel.
Well, I wouldn't have known that. You would not know that, But then, if I'm being honest, it wouldn't really matter to me too much.
No, of course not. Then we go on to the last match of the card, which is Bret Hart finally defeating Yokozuna in 10 minutes 38 seconds for the WWF Championship. We have Rowdy Roddy Piper as the special guest referee, and Bret is still selling that knee injury from the first match.
Like a pro. Not walking, limping to the ring.
Yeah, he's still selling it. Basically, Yokozuna is going after the knee and stopping Bret from doing anything. Cornette pulls Piper out when he's counting because it looked like Bret Hart was going to win, so Piper just literally laid out Cornette. Then there was the fight back. Bret goes with the bulldog off the top rope, but Yokozuna, he has this amazing ability of kicking out literally at the millisecond.
It was 2 and 3/4.
Yeah, it was more than that.
I don't understand how he gets away with that not being a 3 count.
Because he manages to get his he manages to get his shoulder up at the last second. Another person who's really good at that is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is so quick at getting it up. The shoulder. Then there's another really close count from a diving elbow drop. Bret Hart, there was this really cool bit where Bret Hart jumps off the top rope, but Yokozuna catches him and hits the belly to belly, which would normally signal the end, but Yokozuna calls for the bonsai drop. He drags him into the corner, and there's this really weird moment where Yokozuna just suddenly stumbled and fell off the top rope, and because of that, Bret Hart quickly covered and got the 1-2-3 on Yokozuna, and he wins the WWF Championship. Everybody
nice.
comes in to celebrate with Bret Hart.
So sweet.
Rowdy Roddy Piper, Randy Savage, Lex Luger, everyone, and then we are shown Owen Hart standing in the hall in the walkway, really jealous and mouthing off to Bret Hart. Something tells me that feud's not over with.
Might be over by next WrestleMania.
It will be over by next WrestleMania, but obviously Owen Hart may not have stepped out of the shadow of Bret Hart by this point. But that was WrestleMania 10. There's a lot of ways of summing up WrestleMania 10. 3 really good matches is the best way.
Are these your people match moment commentary?
Well, we were building into it.
Okay, go on.
Well, my match of the night is quite easy. It's the first match of the card. Bret against Owen. Fucking amazing match. It's probably one... when we do our recap video right at the end, I am willing to bet that this match will most probably be in my top 10. This was awesome to see, this match. What about you? Oh, I wonder which match Sam has picked.
It is the ladder match. The thing is, it was so close. It genuinely was really, really close. But it is the ladder match. I'm sorry.
It was the HBK showing his bum. That's what it was.
I'm sorry. Hypnotised. Go on.
Yeah. My person of the night, Bret Hart. Bret Hart had a 20-minute match with Owen Hart. Got the knee injury. Came out, did the main event while still selling the knee injury, going against Yokozuna, who's a very stiff guy, and still managing to look like a champ at the end. Yours isn't Bret Hart, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It
is. I went Bret and then I went Owen and I crossed it up at Bret again because how can you not? Like, he did so much. He did more for that WrestleMania than anybody else, and he is incredible.
Yeah, he is.
I know he should have had best match of the night, and he kind of did, but I just really enjoyed the other one, and maybe it was for personal reasons. But and it wasn't just because he was in it, because he's been in matches before, and I haven't said they were the best matches because they weren't. This was a good match, but Bret deserves everything. He's incredible.
Can't wait to watch WrestleMania 12. Moment. I think for me, there's 2 moments I could pick from. There is the moment where you get to see Bret Hart lift up the title, which is a really cool moment. But then there's also that moment that you see all the time, which is Shawn Michaels coming off the ladder with the splash. I think you have to go with Shawn Michaels doing the splash.
That is mine as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of cemented in history, isn't it?
It is. Every time you see...
for that reason.
Yeah, every time you see a video for Shawn Michaels, it's that splash, isn't it?
Yeah.
So whenever you see it, it's like straight away. You can't think of anything else. I don't think... the only line I can really think of, there was quite a funny line during HBK and Razor Ramon where Jerry Lawler said that his doctor prescribes Razor Ramon in spray tan, which I found quite funny. Yeah, because obviously Razor Ramon is quite tanned.
Yeah.
So I quite liked that one.
It's Sheamus.
Yeah, oh God, just don't let Sheamus wrestle anymore. But what did you have a commentator's line? Oh, the SeaWorld one about Mabel. Yeah.
Got baptised at SeaWorld when he was a baby.
What's your
overall rating?
Overall rating?
Oh, is that a 10? 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot wrong with this one. There was a few bloody awful bits, but we ignore that because the rest of it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6.5.
I'm going to go with 6 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's
not quite a 7, but it's
No, it's not because mostly because there is a lot of filler on this. A lot of filler. Sorry, it may seem really rude. I'm trying to find the matches for the next one so I can discuss it. But I am, discussing this. Yeah, there is a lot of filler, and the whole sort of I don't know. It was, you start with such a great match, and then you just have like 4 or 5 seeming like lesser matches. Even like for instance the Lex Luger Yokozuna match, and then you got to Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, and then it was the main one. I think if there was a lot more greater matches there. I mean, the 3 matches that were really good, they helped a lot.
They were really good.
Yeah.
But when you've got really good and shit, you have to kind of average it out a little bit, don't you?
Exactly. That was WrestleMania 10. Obviously, we quite enjoyed it.
It's getting better.
Well, we'll see. The next WrestleMania is WrestleMania 11. We will be... Hold on a sec. We will be in Hartford Civic Centre. So we'll be in Connecticut, the home of the World Wrestling Federation. And the big matches are, I normally tell you 2 or 3. It's hard to say because there's not really a big match in this one. There is Diesel. He's finally turned on Shawn Michaels, so we're going to have Diesel facing off against Shawn Michaels.
Right, okay.
We're going to have Bret Hart against Bob Backlund, which could be a good one. And the Undertaker's back, and he's facing King Kong Bundy.
Awesome.
So not a huge amount of great matches that we're looking for. It's more getting through WrestleMania 11 so we can get to WrestleMania 12, because of those of you that know at home, WrestleMania 12 is the signal of someone getting a great... It basically cements their career for the rest of their career. They continue to build on it, but WrestleMania 12 is the moment. The moment. Okay, but enough about that. We're going to WrestleMania 11 next. We enjoyed it. I was Bingham. That was Chipmunk. That was Forks. I hope you enjoyed WrestleMania 10. My iPad did just fall. And we will see you tomorrow for WrestleMania 11. See you later.
Bye.